Hey there, it's the Board Game Bandit, and I want to tell you about International Tabletop Day 2018, which will be celebrated on April 28th. In today's world, we have a holiday for everything: National Sibling Day, National Taco Day. I get offended whenever my friends forget to wish me a happy National Pizza Day, even though admittedly that occurs at least 4 times a year in some form. But International Tabletop Day isn't one of those random celebrations thrown on the calendar. It was created by Geek and Sundry to celebrate gaming, those who make games and those who play them. I thought that this is a good opportunity to reflect on what International Tabletop Day means, specifically in the context of gaming at large. I learned about ITD in May of 2016, just days after its 4th incarnation. While I was heavily into gaming all throughout its tenure, I wasn't aware of the broader context and couldn't believe that I had learned about it too late. I made sure to do something about it in 2017, and we celebrated, like many others, with 24 hours of gaming in my house. And I have to tell you, that event stands as one of the greatest days of my life, ranked in the upper echelon of memories along with my wedding, my bachelor party, Day Palm Island in Aruba, and the day the CEO of my old company referred to me as Bandit. We still talk about the events of that night. There are rumors of me rage-quitting Fury of Dracula after 3 or 4 hours, but I'd like to state for the record that 1, I only walked away from the table, someone else took my place before I had a chance to go back, and 2, no one should be held responsible for what happens at 4 a.m. in the morning. But to be surrounded by some of my closest friends, doing things that we love, and not worrying about the responsibilities of our adult lives is an amazing feeling. While 24-hour marathons may not be for everyone, I strongly encourage you to celebrate at least in some way with your gaming group. If you don't have one, there are resources on tabletopday.com that can help you find something in your area. But why do we do this? Why do we celebrate gaming? I think that there is something truly special about the inclusivity of gaming that stands apart from any other activity. When you look at my top 10 favorite games, you'll see a mix of American, European, and Japanese games. 3 major cultures are represented in the activities I frequent. My collection features 5 continents of representation, sorry Australia and Antarctica. My Crank It Up channel for Smash Up has subscribers all over the world, especially in Australia apparently. But it's more than just geography. When I watch the World Series, one of my favorite things to see is when the home team fans all have the same color flags that they wave in unison, creating a continuous canvas of color to the point where you can't even see the individuals waving them. It's an amazing visual that I look forward to every year, but gaming accomplishes this every day. You have a chance to be part of something greater than yourself, united with your peers, regardless of the many differences that would ordinarily separate you. We often talk about classifying people into several types, but in the context of gaming, there are really only 2 types of people. Either you get it, or you don't. Either you see what gaming is about, or you don't. When you're a gamer, it doesn't matter what your background is, your occupation, your education, sex, gender, race, religion, political affiliation, sexual orientation, marital status, other categories I'm forgetting, or even whether or not you like pizza. Actually, if you don't like pizza, we probably can't be friends. Just kidding, but not really. No, if you're a gamer, all that matters to me is whether or not you being at the table is a pleasant experience, because that is what gaming is about, coming together to have fun. We leave our differences behind to become engrossed in our mutual love for gaming, a hobby that does its best to be accessible for almost anyone, as well as any hobby theoretically can. Let me share some of my experiences with you. The first time I found a gaming group, there was a member there who I could only assume had cerebral palsy and needed crutches to walk. This affected the type of job he could hold, the type of car he had to drive, the places that he could go. But it could not stop him from playing the games he wanted to play. Sure, dexterity games might have proven to be a challenge, but I choose to look at the vast majority of opportunities that gaming created for him rather than the few blockades he encountered. I was fortunate enough to play games with someone with a mental impediment once, and it gave me an appreciation for the way that he chose to challenge himself and strive to be the person he sees himself as capable of being. It's theoretically possible that I can take a game like Race for the Galaxy and play it with someone who doesn't speak the same language as me. Gaming strives to be culturally relevant, language independent, colorblind friendly, inclusive on so many levels. Is it a coincidence that the world cannot agree on what is the best sport? In the United States, we seem convinced that football is greatest because we care about it the most, even though most of the rest of the world does not. Soccer is probably the answer in terms of global popularity, but here in the United States, it was years before ESPN even seemed to notice. Yet with gaming, the fact that we play games at all is what unites us, rather than the specific type of game. Sure, there will always be banter between Eurogamers and Ameritrash, but on days like International Tabletop Day, we remember that we celebrate our commonalities and share in the experience together. Since my first 24-hour game marathon, I have not stopped looking forward to the next International Tabletop Day. I even wanted to send out invites 3 months in advance to make sure everyone would attend, but I didn't want to come across as overbearing, and I had to wait patiently. My wife jokes about that day, saying she woke up and there were people in the house, that she went to work and came home to the same people in the house. She went to bed with the same people in the house, and then woke up the next morning to find the same people in the house. How do you sustain yourself over 24 hours? Copious amounts of food will help, but it's people more than anything. I used to have to routinely work late at an old job, one time for 26 and a half straight hours of programming, which is insane. But I got through it because of the relationship I had with my coworkers and the levity that it brought in the darkest part of the night. When I was younger, I used to love sleepovers because they seemingly broke all the rules. Stay up all night, be where you're not supposed to be, and I get much of the same feeling from a 24-hour game night. We run from 8 a.m. Saturday to 8 a.m. Sunday. That first day back at work on Monday, I will probably have a ton of responsibility waiting for me. But it doesn't matter because time seemingly stops. I'm doing what I love with the people I love in unison with gamers all over the world. People I've never met, people I can't communicate with, but people who speak the same language of gaming. How awesome is it to be a part of that? This is what I always tell people who don't understand gaming when they ask me, why do I do what I do? Gaming gives you a chance to be a part of something greater, something bigger than yourself. It forms relationships, cultivates friendships, creates families. Wherever you are in the world, whatever your level of interest in gaming, take the time to play a game or two that Saturday. There is a game for every person, and there's a person for every game. Find the one that's right for you and play it on International Tabletop Day. To much of the world, International Tabletop Day may not seem like a big deal, but that's because they don't have the luxury of being part of this amazing community. We do, and we should take advantage of it. It's what makes us who we are. Thanks for listening. I'm the Board Game Bandit, and our game has just begun.